Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and extremely exciting news that we have for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak's 5th free title update, which of course is going to be dropping in late April. And today we're going to be checking out the latest information that came directly from Director Suzuki regarding some of the new additional changes that we can expect as part of this presumably final free title update, but there is a little bit of a caveat depending if you want to look at it in an optimistic manner. So essentially, in the past few weeks, they have taken to social media and given us some new details regarding what it is that we can expect as some of the new quality of life improvements, perhaps some of the new changes, some of the new features, or anything along those lines. Most notably, a few weeks back, we did get the confirmation that a new crafting for pretty much melding options will be making their way as part of this update, and that certainly has gotten a lot of people's attention. But today we're going to be going over the fact that Director Suzuki took to social media and confirmed that weapon changes will be coming to various weapon actions, and there's going to be a lot of discussion, I'm sure, stemming off of this most latest post. Now here's the thing, usually they post this in Japanese and their official Japanese Twitter account and in their North American English Twitter account, and there usually isn't that much of a variation in their posting. However, this time around there is, so I certainly want to make a case of maybe they are suggesting something a little bit more different or more specific in their Japanese post. It simply reads in their Japanese version of their post that this is Suzuki, the director of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Starting with the update number 5, we will be making adjustments to actions on multiple weapon types. Please wait for further information regarding the details. So that's usually how it's supposed to be read based off of a direct translation. However, in their North American version of the post, the English version that they shared, they mentioned, "Hey everyone, as part of free title update 5, we will be making some adjustments to various weapon actions. Please wait for more info to come regarding specific details. Suzuki, director of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak." Now the biggest difference here, we're not going to talk about the weapon changes right now. I do want to quickly just focus on the fact that in the Japanese version of it, they do specifically word it in a way that it mentions starting with the next free title update, the 5th one. This is something that plenty of comments in their Japanese post directly allude to. They're saying basically like that the post is actually confirming that there will be a next update based off of the wording that they shared it in. Plenty of posts following that one. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description for both if you want to take a closer look at them. But essentially in the Japanese one, there's plenty of posts from followers and users who just simply read that and said, took it as, sure, changes are nice, whatever, weapon upgrades or buffs or nerfs, all well and good. Oh wow, we're actually getting a 6th update, because they're basically wording it as this is just one of subsequent ones that are coming. So that is the first takeaway in that. In the North American post and the English post, it just simply doesn't read that way at all. They don't allude to any more updates or anything like that. Just the wording is way different. But again, it's just maybe a translation thing. Maybe it's just the way that is written in Japanese. Therefore, it gives people hope for that. I don't necessarily know. I'm not a native Japanese speaker. Maybe someone in the comments will be able to clarify that a little bit further. Setting all that aside though, specifically what they are referring to here in this post is that they will be making some adjustments to various weapon actions. Now weapon actions most likely refer to silkbind attacks, pretty much the stuff that has made Rise and Sunbreak interesting in their own way. They don't necessarily seem to be suggesting major buffs or nerfs to when it comes to weapon based on just the normal weapon combos, but specifically they seem to be referring to silkbind attacks based off of the fact that the screenshot that they attached seems to be suggesting Surge Slash for Great Sword, which of course is in direct combination with Ray Slash and Strong Arm stance, right? So therefore, that's been a little bit of a combination that people have had, some let's say, abuse of when it comes to greatsword. Plenty of highlight videos being shared there of just how crazy they abuse that thing with, plenty of different ways. So maybe a surge slash buff is actually coming, and they're going to be nerfing, strong arm in that regard. Maybe ray slash also gets a buff, but of course this is just a lot of presumption that because they are showing the great sword, therefore this is the changes that we're going to get in that regard. However, they mention various, so they are suggesting that pretty much every single weapon, or at the very least most weapons, will get some sort of changes, some sort of variations, upgrades, or nerfs. And depending on the weapon that you have, depending on the weapon that you main, most likely you have a reasoning or a justification on why you think your weapon needs a buff, or what other weapons certainly need a nerf. So I want to take the second to kind of encourage all of you guys in the comments to do let me know what weapon specific silkbind attack changes you would hope for there to be added specifically for the weapon that you are using. Do let me know in the comments just what exactly you would like to see, because at the end of the day, I think that a lot of the weapons that have been popular are usually the ones that we have seen been adjusted. Most of the time I scroll through a lot of comments to just see a lot of people expecting the same thing pretty much all the time. Lance, please buff. Gun lance, please buff. Bow, please buff. Insect glaive, please buff. The typical weapons that people have keep asking for. Bow most recently, which it didn't really see that all that often, but as of recently I've seen a lot of people expecting bow to get buffed. Insect glaive, gun lance, and lance are like weapons that have been expecting buffs for quite a long time. Just the nature of it. Gun lance, seems like gun lance players, not for nothing, no matter what changes they get, they're usually never satisfied. They always want more. So that's kind of like the expectation that I see when it comes to gun lance. But of course, weapons like longsword are always going to get buffed because it's one of the most popular weapons in the game. We went over this pretty much at the beginning of launch of Monster Hunter Rise, where there was a specific developer interview where they speak about the fact that they adjust weapons that are popular because players are playing those weapons the most. So if there were 60% player base playing lances, guess what? Lances would be getting buffed and they would be making more fun. But the fact that it's one of the least popular used weapons in the game, most likely they don't even care to adjust it because they find it enough powerful as it is, so they don't necessarily feel the reason to adjust it. That is the developer's reasoning. That is not my reasoning, but that is the way that it has been so far. So of course, everyone has, I'm sure, a weapon of choice that they use, they main, that they want to see adjusted. Personally, I would just love to see the option to just carry more ammo when it comes to bow guns and bows in general. Just carry more ammo. Having to go back and restock when it doesn't really change how much damage you're doing. It's just a little bit of a pain in the butt. Maybe go ahead and fix that elemental bags and stuff. Just let me have more. Maybe make my Palamute carry more ammo for me. I've spoken about this in the past. Maybe more ammo in general to just being able, before you have to reload. That would go a long way. Not that bow gunners in general, for me personally, again, that's the weapon that I use, not that bow gunners in general don't already maximize reload and recoil, stuff like that. So like we try to get it as fast, shooting as fast as possible, having the least amount of recoil possible, stuff like that. So not necessarily that much of a problem, but still it would be nice to just have one extra ammo slot for certain ammo types that just don't really get all that a lot of like just ammo options available to us. And again, stocking more ammo will always help. Now if they're specifically talking about just wire buggers, silkbind attacks, make a lot of them just valuable. I think this would actually go across the board entirely for many of the weapons. A lot of people hoped that Sunbreak would actually make a lot of the silkbind wire bug attacks for their weapons that which were tweaked in one way or another, make them more valuable, but it just didn't really seem to end up getting that love that everyone kind of expected. At the end of the day, it seems like a lot of weapons that are still silkbind attack dependent will still remain that way, like hammers, for example, insect glaives to some degree. And the weapons that weren't necessarily silkbind attack dependent never became dependent because the adjustments to the silkbind attacks were so minimal they never really did much for anyone. So maybe finally addressing some of those issues would go a long way, but I don't necessarily see them making too much hay in that regard. Whether this is the final update, based on their wording, we'll have to wait and see, but some new weapon changes coming certainly is going to get a lot of people excited. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.